Om Jnanatimannas Sakshamritamena Prasmarishikoravena Chichaitanyamanovistam Stavitam Vena Skamrupakadamandananti Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shiyo Shiyudapakamanam Shivom Vaishnavam Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Saudutam Pajana Saitam Sikrishna Chaitanya Devam Shirada Krishna Padam Saganalita Shivshakam Vitam Sa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jayapati Gopesha Gopikakam Parakantam Taptapan Snagmangira Devandavanishta Vishabam Sudeve Panam Panka Kaustavisha Epa Sinvesha Patanam Pavanavyo Vaishnavyo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dhamma Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shanate Bhakti Vinamsvanti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharani Nirvishesha Srinyavadi Paskachaya Srisatana. Today, with the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas, we will study Bhagavad Gita. Without their blessings, our study is fruitless. So let's pray to Prabhupada for his blessings, that we can understand something from Bhagavad Gita. So, what are the reasons for studying Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is a practical book that as a devotee we may learn it inside and outside, and then that gives us opportunity to view our life constantly through these teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So what are some reasons to study Bhagavad Gita? Please give me some reasons. Yeah, Bill.
It's the essence of Vedic knowledge, and therefore most important for all.
Essence of Vedic knowledge. How to act in life.
How to control the mind and senses.
How to control the mind and senses.
What to talk to everybody, every living entity. Knowledge.
Important knowledge. Come to goodness.
To know how the material world is working in us.
Yeah, how to know how the material world is working. Yes?
Who am I?
Who am I? The reasons I noted down are slightly different. That Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's guidance to go back to Buddha. It authorizes our activities in ISKCON. It frees us from the body concept of mind. It's the theistic signs of God. And it teaches the process of self-realization. Interesting in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is centered around the number 18. So there are, how many chapters are there in the Bhagavad Gita? 18, yeah. How many days took the Battle of Kurukshetra? 18. How many axohinis are armies were participating? 18. Yeah. So it's considered to be a very auspicious number. 8 plus 1 is 9. That's the highest number. But anyway, these 18 chapters are divided in 3 parts. And we are presenting the first part, the first 6 chapters. The first 6 chapters study Nishkam karma, how to do one's duties without desires. Also, Jnana Yoga is discussed, Astanga Yoga, and it gives a glimpse of Bhakti. The second 6 chapters, they are the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, that there Bhakti is discussed, but Bhakti is rahasya, is a secret, therefore it's hidden, that it's very secret. It's the essence of all scriptures. It's the purpose of all scriptures. Vedanta eva cham Krishna. I'm to be known by all the Vedas. I'm the knower of the Vedas, I'm the compiler of the Vedas. So Krishna will say that in this 15th chapter, Vedasya sarvamami vedam. So Bhakti is the essence of all scriptures. Its secret is in the middle. So Bhakti is one of the topics discussed in Karma and Jnana Yoga also. But with Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, which we will explore, without Bhakti they are dead. They don't work. That's the reality. So Bhakti gives life to Karma and Jnana. Of course, Bhakti is surrounded by Karma and Jnana. We will, Bhakti produces knowledge and detachment. That's realized knowledge. That's the real thing. So without Bhakti, the other yogas are useless. It will not bring any results. Out of respecting something, it is kept hidden. You don't take immediately your valuable secret and show it before a stranger. So when the person is a little intimate, then you will tell him of something hidden, something secret. Out of respect, therefore, Bhakti is kept in the middle chapters. And Bhakti is most important. And the last 6 chapters of the Gita, they discuss Jnana Yoga, knowledge supporting Bhakti. So yes, we have here on the screen an overview of the first chapter. But this is just one way of dividing these verses. One can divide verses in a different way. What's the purpose of doing that? That you can easily remember the flow, what's happening in a chapter. So this is not written in stone. You will find in Bhujam's Surrender Unto Me, different kinds of doing that. I will use sometimes different ways of presenting it. So now what is the subject of Bhagavad Gita? I was once in England in an Adventist school, and my students were between 5 and 6 years old. And I spoke about them about the 5 subjects. I asked them about the 5 subjects. I will share with you what they answered. First, I have to get it on the screen. Teams. Here it is. We go back to share. So I asked them, who is Ishvara? Ishvara is the controller. They said Ishvara is Krishna. Ishvara, controller, is Krishna. And then I asked, what is Prakriti? Prakriti, they said, it's everything around us. Nature, Prakriti. Everything you can perceive in this world is Prakriti. And then Prakriti all around us, yeah. What is Kala? Kala, yeah. I asked, they didn't set time. When I asked Kala, one of the students raised his hand and said, I'm always too late in school, he said. That time. So he knew time. That's how he remembered. I'm always too late in school. And then I asked, what is karma? And they said, that's what we do. Work. And then I asked about Shiva. They say, that's us. The soul. So anyway, that was for the children. They were brilliant. But as they remembered it, I hope you will also remember that so yes, from this 5, 4 are eternal and 1 is not eternal. Which is the one of the 5 which is not eternal? Yeah. Karma. So what we do. Yes. That. So now we come to Bhagavad Gita. The basic idea is that Arjuna did not wish to fight. And he gave many reasons to Krishna why he should not fight. But something that the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is that Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight. But that's not the real reason. That Arjuna has doubts, and Krishna answers his doubts and explains that Arjuna he should fight as an offering to him. That interesting is, but for your study, I will try to find it. What Gita 5 online. Okay. BHG och. See? Everyone can go there. And then you go to audio lectures. And then you go to Purnachandra Maharaj. Nearly up. Somewhere. Bhujan. Purnachandra. There you have Gitamrita. Yeah? I will play the first one. The first time is not introduction to the Gita. But you can hear the entire Bhagavad Gita spoken by Krishna to Arjuna, but with verses of our acharyas between. That brings it to life. It's authorized. It's very nice.
You are about to hear the most important conversation that has ever taken place. It is a timeless conversation between the Supreme Lord, Krishna, and his devotee, Arjuna. Arjuna is a constant companion of Krishna, who perpetually travels with the Lord throughout the material world, playing a key role in an endless drama. That drama is for our sake, yours and mine. In it, Arjuna plays a warrior whose duty is to fight a battle to establish righteousness in the world. Just before the battle begins, Arjuna surveys the opposing troops, and seeing many of his own relatives and friends within their ranks, he becomes bewildered. Krishna, who is playing the role of Arjuna's chariot driver, convinces him to do his duty by revealing to him all the truths of the universe. Truths about the soul, karma, rebirth, liberation, and devotion. Since we're all faced with life's dilemmas and have our own battle to fight, Krishna's words are pertinent to us all. This drama is performed again and again, not only on this earth, but on other planets and other universes as well. In each performance, there are slight variations in the dialogue, but the theme remains unchanged. Great self-realized souls can hear these conversations by their mystic power, and some have written them down for our benefit. Listen now as the troops prepare for battle on the plains of Kurukshetra.
It is made by Purnachandra Maharaj, late Purnachandra Maharaj, that yes, you see, the entire Bhagavad Gita is there. For your homework work, you should hear each chapter before coming to the class. Beautiful summaries, and brings it really alive. It's called the Gita Amrita. That now we go back to the introduction. So Purnachandra Maharaj said, Krishna is an eternal associate of, Arjuna is an eternal associate of Krishna. And he travels from universe to universe with Krishna. And what is one of the main functions of Arjuna? He has to facilitate Krishna speaking Bhagavad Gita and to express, and he has to express the right doubts so that Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is a pure devotee. He is a pure devotee of Krishna. But Krishna brings him under yoga maya, spiritual energy, and he brings him into spiritual illusion. Not the illusion we are undergoing in this world. And therefore, you will see that Arjuna will act sometimes in very strange ways. That we will come to that when we go to the verses. So Krishna has arranged that Srila Vyasadeva compiled his Mahabharata. And this is Krishna's compassion. In the middle of this Mahabharata is this gem. There is this gem in the Bhishma Parava chapters of the Mahabharata. And there you have Bhagavad Gita. Krishna had arranged for this battle. 504 million people are going to be killed in the battle. 504 million. That was the population in India 5,000 years ago. Much more than that. Much more. These were only the Kshatriyas. But India is still the most populated area in the world today. It is a battle that has to do with kings. And they want to be king in this world. Families are fighting. There's intrigue, there's conspiracy, there is murder, there is brother against brother, there is exile. It's very exciting. The culmination is that they are meeting on the battlefield. Naturally, everyone wants to win. Thousands of people are ready to engage in warfare. In the middle of Arjuna and Krishna appear. Why? What's going to happen? While our interest is to place Krishna's words in our consciousness. Krishna's purpose of the drama of Bhagavad Gita is compassion. Simply what we hear, he wants us that we hear the Bhagavad Gita. That's the prime reason. Krishna states the whole Gita so that we can hear his important message for all the conditioned souls It has a history in the Mahabharata before that. The two kings, Pandu and Dhritarashtra, were all descendants of Bharat. Bharat Maharaj. So India is called Bharat. It's named, that's the name of this king. The history of Greater India is called the Mahabharata. So Dhritarashtra was older than Pandu. They were brothers, but Dhritarashtra was blind. And although he had become a king, he did not become a king because he lacked eyesight. So Dhritarashtra was disturbed about that. The Pandu had 5 sons. The eldest is Yudhishthir, then Bhima, Arjun, Nakula, Sahadev, and Dhritarashtra had 100 sons. And the chief was Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra was not a king, as the succession passed around him to Pandu. After Pandu died at a young age, due to a curse, his sons were meant to become the king. Yudhishthir, the eldest, was destined to become the king, but because there were 2 young sons, they were placed under the care of Dhritarashtra. Then Dhritarashtra's envious sons, especially Duryodhana, planned to kill these young boys. Immediately, Duryodhana planned to give them poison. He had a house that was made of beautifully constructed, like a palace, but it was made of flammable lime. He invited the Pandavas to live in this house to spend the summer there. But the Pandavas realized that it smelled a bit strange. The house burned down, but prior to that, by the mercy of Vidura, they escaped. There were so many plots to kill the Pandavas by the sons of Dhritarashtra. Finally, Duryodhana arranged a gambling match with the Pandavas. The result of that gambling match, using Sakuni, Duryodhana cheated the Pandavas and obliged to exile in the forest for 13 years. After the 13 years, they had to spend 1 year in exile. Wonderful, intriguing stories in the Mahabharata. They came back after 14 years and they asked Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, please, we want our kingdom back. We have done honestly, but as we had promised, we had gone to the forest for 13 years. It was not easy, but we went 1 year in exile. We went. So please give our kingdom. And they said, no. Then give us half of the kingdom. You can take half. But we are Kshatriyas, the royal family. Give us the kingdom. Take the other half. No, said Duryodhana. But we are Kshatriyas. We can adopt any other profession. We cannot be Brahmins or Vaishyas. We cannot be Sudras, at least. We are administrators. At least give us 5 villages so that each of them can take shares of a village. Do that. And no, Duryodhana replied, I cannot spare even enough land to drive a pin in. Duryodhana was so envious to the Pandavas. By doing that, it was immediately understood that there would be a war for the kingdom. So Krishna personally acted as a messenger. The Pandavas were glorified because Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. He served his devotees in this way, and the Pandavas are glorified as being so dear to Krishna. Krishna was going out of his way to act as their messenger. So he went to Duryodhana and he said, please give the Pandavas their kingdom. And how did Duryodhana and Karna react? They tried to capture Krishna. As a messenger, even they tried to capture him, and bind him and throw him in jail. they rejected the Pandavas' offer for peace. That they had a plan, but Krishna laughed and he expanded and showed this universal form to Duryodhana, and the result was war. So when it was certain that the war will come about, then Duryodhana and Arjuna both separately had the same idea to go to see Krishna. Krishna was in Dwarka. So they went to Dwarka early in the morning, and early in the morning Duryodhana and Arjuna arrived together at the palace of Krishna. And Krishna was still sleeping, so they went into his sleeping room, and Duryodhana put himself at the face of Krishna, and the Arjuna was at the end of the bedstead, looking straight to Krishna. So Duryodhana was thinking Krishna will wake up and see me first and will ask me, Duryodhana, what can I do for you? But when Krishna woke up, he looked straight before him and he saw Arjuna. And I asked Arjuna, and Duryodhana, why did you come? So Arjuna said, yes, we came because soon this battle will take place. And we were wondering at which side are you going to fight? And Krishna said, I will not fight, but I will serve at one side, assisting as a charioteer, and my army, was a part of Krishna's army, not complete. They can serve at the other side. Krishna had a very powerful army. And he said to Arjuna, what do you want? Do you want me or my army? And Arjuna said, I want you. And Duryodhana became very happy. He said, now I have this powerful army, then they slowly will vanish. But, so that was how everything was lining up. Eventually, Arjuna asked Krishna to be his chariot driver. So Krishna is also glorified as Partha Sarathi, the chariot driver of Arjuna, of Partha. Partha is son of Pritha Kunti. That one, yeah. So he's driving the chariot of Arjuna. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Param Ishvara, the Supreme Brahman, is driving the chariot of his devotee. So yes, this is the introduction. And now we will start the first lesson. The first 27 verses are about the preparations of the war. So you could say lesson, you can divide it from 1 to 27, and you can say this is preparation of the war. That's another way of dividing that. But these 27 verses are very basic. They contain a lot of very interesting commentaries by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushan and Srila Prabhupada. But we will also look at the commentaries of Sridhar Swami, Ramanujacharya, but primarily we draw from Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushan. They put some very interesting things in there which are like gems, and that we will describe or attempt to describe. Now we go to the first verse that we are. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. Samaveta Yutsava. Mamaka Pantavashaiva. Kim Kovata Sanyaya. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of Kurukshetra desiring to fight, what did they do? That's a bit of a strange question he's asking. That he says yes. That he says yes. Dharmakshata, Kurukshetra, Samaveta, Yutsava. He says they are going there for fighting the Yutsava. And then he's asking them, what do they do? It's a very strange. But you know what they are going to do. But then it says, Mamaka, my sons. That is his attachment. Mamaka, Pandavas, Sheva. My sons and the Pandavas. What did they do? So Dhritarashtra was blind. He did not know what happened in the battlefield. So the first verse sets the scene. His secretary was Sanjay. After the battle was going on for some days, after Bhishma had fallen on the battlefield, Sanjay was fighting in the battle, and he journeyed to Hastinapur to tell this news to Dhritarashtra that Bhishma had fallen. And he's relating at that time what has happened to this point in the battle. And this is the wonderful dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. So the first thing here is the word Dharma Kshetra. Dharma Kshetra indicates a place where religious rituals were performed. So that's significant. Because on the battlefield was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's at the side of Arjuna. So Dhritarashtra was the father of the Kurus, and he was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from Sanjay. He said, what did they do? He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Panda were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of war. Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want to compromise between the cousins and the brothers. He wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield, because the battle was arranged at Kurukshetra, which was mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship. So even for the denizens of heaven. So Dhritarashtra became fearful of the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle because he was bad. That's the problem. He did not want the good place to put its favorable influence because that would diminish the power of his son's influence of that holy place. Or possibly the power of it will make the power of the Pandavas stronger. Or possibly the Kauravas would leave the battle. No, he did not want any of that. He wanted the battle and he wanted the annihilation of the Pandavas. Now he's asking in a neutral way, but his consciousness is not at all neutral. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably, because by nature they were all virtuous. Sanjay was a student of Vyas, and therefore by the mercy of Vyas, Sanjay was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra, even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. So Srila Prabhupada writes, the word Dharmakshetra, situated in the battlefield. Dhritarashtra, being bad, was afraid of this good place would diminish the power of his sons. So one can thus understand. Yeah. Anyway, this is one of your questions, usually on the exam. Give me a number of signs of victory of the Pandavas over the Kurus. This is the first sign of victory. It is fought on a place which is favorable for the Pandavas. So Dhritarashtra did not want his sons and the Pandavas to compromise, or the Pandavas to become stronger, or leave the battlefield under the influence of Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra. He wanted a battle, a war, and the Pandavas annihilated, even though he's asking in a neutral way, his consciousness is not. Youth is not neutral. But he's asking, Srila Prabhupada said, we must hear Bhagavad Gita from the disciplic representative without motivated interpretation. So this is the history of Kurukshetra. King Kuru plowing the field. That's in the Vedas. That's another story. So in the verse of Bhagavad Gita is a question posed by Dhritarashtra. What did my sons do? And the sons of Pandu. The last verse of the Gita can be seen as Lord Krishna's answers. The last verse. Wherever there is Arjuna and Krishna, there will always be victory. So it is ironic that Dhritarashtra is telling what they are doing. He's telling us what they are doing, and then he's asking what are they doing. Dhritarashtra is a tricky fellow. He's a little crooked. His problem is Hriday Daurbalyam. We will hear that term later in Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning of the second chapter. It's Hriday Daurbalyam, like Duryodhana also. In Garga Samhita mentions that Duryodhana is a partial Amsa of Kali. Dhritarashtra is a demigod named Bhargava. So he's playing a role actually. He's really a nice guy. But he's playing the evil role. Krishna gave him the evil role to play in the drama. And the verse is Dharma Kshetra Karo Kshetra. So this is very interesting. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has described that Saraswati Devi has indicated a special meaning here for the word Dharma. He describes that, and he describes that, and Prabhupada refers to this in the last paragraph of his commentary. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Dharmaraj or Yudhishthir, so Yudhishthir is Dharmaraj, and that, so Yudhishthir, who is Dharmaraj, Dharma personified, and his brothers are compared to rice plants in the kshetra, in the field. Dharma means Yudhishthir, and kshetra means a place. And they are compared like rice plants, and Krishna is the farmer, he is the gardener. And in the rice paddy field, when you are growing rice, there are these yam or dark plants which must be pulled out. Otherwise, they suck all the water and kill the rice plants. So Duryodhana is like the dark weeds, and Krishna is pulling Duryodhana and company, which are all like weeds which will destroy the field. And Krishna assisting the Pandavas is like water, pulling the water in the rice field and pulling the wall around the rice field to keep the water nicely situated. So Srila Prabhupada mentions Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's example in his commentary in the last few sentences of the purport. So Duryodhana is an expert politician. So what the commentary, I think I just read from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is here on the screen. That I just went over it. Duryodhana is the dark weeds. Now, the next section, which goes up to Vishmadev, blowing the conch shell, is Duryodhana speaking. We call it the Duryodhana Gita. He's speaking Duryodhana Gita. That, and we will hear about his diplomacy, Duryodhana. That, and Duryodhana, here is Duryodhana is speaking to Dronacharya, his teacher. That, yes, Duryodhana, like that's another way to define the sections in the first section, Duryodhana Gita. Duryodhana is an expert politician. He's worried about the battle. So he's speaking to his teacher, Dronacharya. Anyway, well, originally a Brahmin, but became a Kshatriya. That story you find in the Mahabharata. How he became the teacher in martial arts of the Pandavas and the Kauravas alike. That's interesting. His favorite student was Arjuna. So here in the verse here, the second verse of says, Sanjaya Vatsha Dishya tu Pandavanikam Yudam Duryodhanastatam Acharyam Upasangam Ya Raja Vachanam Abravit. O king, after looking over the army, arranged in military formation by the sons of Bandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. Raj Pachavam Abravit. Duryodhana spoke some words, nothing significant, just something to met his purpose, to get his purpose met. That yeah. Okay, and then it's text 3. Paschaitam Pudaputranam Acharya Martim Chanam Vyudam Drupada Putrana Tavasishena Dimata. Oh, my teacher, so Duryodhana is speaking to Dronacharya. Oh, my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged to your, by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. It's completely politically inspired. That he's an expert politician. So why saying that? Dronacharya's greatest enemy is Drupada, King Drupada. And Drupada was given a benediction that his son, Drishtadyumna, would have the ability to kill Dronacharya. So here is referring to Drishtadyumna. So Duryodhana is saying, because he wants to get Dronacharya fired up to fight. So why were Dronacharya and Drupada enemies? Because as explained in the Mahabharata, Drupada and Dronacharya, they went together to the same Gurukul. They were in the same class and they were very dear friends. But Dronacharya, he was a Brahmin. And Drupada, he was a Kshatriya, a powerful king. So they were great friends. And one day Drupada said to Dronacharya, my dear friend, whatever I have because of my affection for you, I give to you. But time passed and they grew up and they left the Gurukul. And Drupada became a very powerful king. And Dronacharya was a Brahmin who became extremely poor. Dronacharya had a son, Ashvatam. You will hear about him. Ashvatam. Now, this poor Ashvatam was so poor that he had never seen milk in his own life. So one of his friends decided to play a trick on him. They gave him some water, put in some white powder. And the friend said, oh, Ashvatam, here, drink this nice milk. This is a drink for you. Ashvatam drank it, and it did not taste good. And his father saw it, and one can imagine how his father's heart broke, that he could not even provide milk for his son. So immediately he was thinking, I have to do something about my poverty. So he remembered his old school friend, Drupada. So as a poor Brahmin, he walked into the kingdom of Drupada, and he walked into the palace and said to Drupada, remember when we were at school, when we were school friends, you said that I could have your entire kingdom if I wanted. What was yours was mine. We were friends. Now, please, could you give me one cow? And Drupada was in a very particular mood, and he said, friendship can only exist among equals. Get out here immediately. And he kicked him out. Dronacharya was furious. He learned after that point the military arts. He became so expert in the military that he became the teacher of the Pandavas and the Kauravas. After training the Kauravas, and the Pandavas, they came to Dronacharya and said, "We want to give you Guru Dakshin." Immediately Dronacharya said, "Arjun, go and catch Drupada, bring him here and tie him up and place him at my feet." This is what he was waiting for. Duryodhana immediately said, "I can do it." Arjun does not have to do it, Duryodhana said. "I can do it." But Dronacharya said to Duryodhana, "You cannot fight like Arjun. You don't know how powerful Drupada is. You will be completely massacred. Arjun, you go and do it." Duryodhana became more angry and considered it an insult to his teacher. Arjun went out, and the army of Drupada came out. And Arjun, with his great power, he captured Drupada and tied him up and brought him before Duryodhana and brought him to Duryodhana and Dronacharya and placed him at his feet and made him admit to be the servant of Dronacharya. These are the dealings between Kshatriyas. Dronacharya said that now you have half of your kingdom back. I take one half. He took half of the kingdom and released Drupada and sent him back. Drupada was not happy with the arrangement, so he was insulted, so he performed sacrifice. And as a result of the sacrifice, he had a son and a daughter, Tristadyumna and Draupadi. Tristadyumna was going to be the death of Dronacharya. And it actually happened like that. And that is why Dronacharya is at one side, and Drupada and Tristadyumna were on the other side. So just to fire up Dronacharya and let him know that he has to fight very hard on the battlefield, he said, "Drupada Putrana." He did not call him by name, reminded him, but he reminded him of his enmity with Drupada. Now, so Duryodhana mentions, so this is now one big, I read the next verses, 1, 4, 5. Here in this army, Atra Suramashasa Bhimayuna Samayudi, Yudana Vratasha Drupata Samaharata. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equally fighting to Bhima and Arjun, and fighters like Yuyudan, Virat, and Drupada. Tristaketa Sakitana, Kasiraja Saviryavam, Purjit Kuntibojacha, Sabyas Sanarapungava. There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Dristaketu, Tetikan, Kasiraj, Purjit, Kuntiboja, and Sabya. So the first he mentions at the side of the Pandavas is Bhima. Bhima, he mentioned Bhima first, he's the most dangerous. And that Bhima was angry for and waiting for 15 years to kill all the Kauravas. Others' fighting ability would only be compared to Bhima and Arjun. Bhima took 3 vows when Draupadi was insulted. First vow is, I will kill the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. I will break Duryodhana's thigh, and I will wash Draupadi's hair with Dushasan's blood. So the first person that is mentioned that is dangerous at the opposing side is Bhima, because Bhima is angry. He's waiting for 15 years to kill all the Kauravas. And he had taken 3 vows when Draupadi was insulted at the time of the gambling match. Bhima took 3 vows. He said he would kill all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. He also said he would break Duryodhana's thigh. Because when Draupadi was said to be the slave, Yudhishthira's gambling lost Draupadi as well as his kingdom. Duryodhana picked up his dhoti and showed the thigh to Draupadi and motioned her to come and sit on his thigh. Bhima became furious and he vowed to break that very thigh. And of course, we know what later happened. Not only did Bhima say that he would kill all the hundreds of sons, he also said that he would drink their blood and wash Draupadi's hair with Dushasan's blood, because he took out a knot that was tied during the Rajasuya ceremony and was trying to disrobe Draupadi. Draupadi's temperament was quite similar to that of Bhima. Yeah. Was a Kshatriya woman. She used to chastise Yudhishthira all the time, saying things like, "You are too much like a Brahmin." She used to be extra favorable to Bhima because they had similar, very hot natures. So here Duryodhana is mentioned to Dronacharya first, Bhima. Actually, during the battle, Bhima went crazy. Everywhere he would go and he was screaming loudly, and he would be catching the sons of Dhritarashtra and rip open their hearts, drink their blood. Everyone was terrified of him because he was so incensed in the battle. So Bhima is the first person that is mentioned to be afraid of. He mentioned then Arjuna and the great fighters like Yudhan, Virat, Drupada. So they have all their histories. They are all in the Mahabharata with histories. So Yudhan, Satyaki learned from Arjuna and was fully dedicated to him. Now text 6. Still the Duryodhana Gita speaking to Dronacharya. Yudhamanas sa vikranta attamauja sa viryavan sabhadra draupadeyasya sarvaheva maharata. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. So Duryodhana is an expert politician. After describing the awesome might of the Pandavas, he did not want to frighten Drona, so he starts to describe his military force. All these are Maharata, he said. Each of them is able to fight with 10,000 elephants. Now, after describing the awesome might of the Pandavas, and now he speaks about his army. He says, Asmakam tu vishistaye tannibodat vichottama nayata mamasanyasya samyaktam tam pavishime. But for your information, best of the Brahmins, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force, my army, Mama Sanyasya. Duryodhana being an expert, the politicians did not want to make Dronacharya afraid. So he says, Mama Sanyasa. Now, I will describe my army instead. Text 8. Bhavam Bhishma Sakarnasya Kripasa Samitim Jaya Asvatama Vikarnasya Samadastatatevava. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashvatam, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta, called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in the battle. So he mentions, he says, Bhavan, you. That's Duryodhana. Mention Duryodhana first, and then Bhishma. But Bhishma was also around. He heard it. So Bhishma was the most powerful of the warriors, but he was a Kshatriya and Dronacharya was a Brahmin. So if Duryodhana mentioned Bhishma first, then Dronacharya will become very insulted and will not put everything into the fighting. If he mentions Dronacharya first, then Bhima might get insulted. So therefore it says Bhavan Bhishmas. So first is your good self. The reason why he's able to do this is that because Dronacharya is a Brahmin and Bhishma being a Kshatriya, he will allow a Brahmin to be mentioned first. That you have to know the culture to understand that the etiquette. So if we would have said Karna first, then Karna would have been happy, but the other two would have been furious. So very expertly, he says, Bhavan Bhishma. First on our side, there is your good self. Then Bhishma, who is senior to Karna. There are personalities like Bhishma, Karna, and then just to encourage Dronacharya, he mentioned Kripa, who is Dronacharya's brother-in-law, that because Dronacharya is married to Kripi, and then Ashvatam, who is Dronacharya's son. So he's very expert just to get his ends met, because they are all listening to Dronacharya. That Vikarna is not as powerful as the others. Vikarna is the son of Dhritarashtra, one of the 100 sons. He was the only one to protest in the assembly when Draupadi was disrobed. He was the only one to protest. So Duryodhana was afraid that Vikarna is going over to the other side. Because before the battle begins, Yudhishthira will go out and say, anyone who wants to fight on my side, you come over from Duryodhana's side, and you can come now. And there were movements. So Duryodhana is afraid of Vikarna because he doesn't like what happened to Draupadi. He's going to defect to the other side. So therefore Duryodhana says that we have very powerful fighters like Bhishma and Drona and Kripacharya and Vikarna on our side. So it are all special people that are mentioned. So Duryodhana is expert in things, in presenting things to have his purpose met. No, 199. Anye sa bhava sura matarte jakta shivita nana shastra paharana sarva yuda visharada. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in the military science. So Anya, there are others. Bhava in great numbers. They are suras, they are heroes. Duryodhana's confidence of victory is based on the combined strength of his friends. 10. Apayaptam tadasmakam balam bhishma bhirakshatam paryaptam tvidam etesham balam bhima bhirakshitam. Our strength is immeasurable, he says, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima is limited. So he wants Bhishma Dev to feel important. That because the Pandavas are Bhishma's favorite students. He knows that Duryodhana. So Duryodhana has to encourage Bhishma to fight. You have the word aparyaptam. It has two meanings. Srila Prabhupada says that they are immeasurable. Kauravas by Bhishma are protected by Bhishma and therefore immeasurable. Srila Prabhupada, that meaning comes from Baladev Vidyabhushan. So Bhishma encouraged. And then Vishwanath Thakur says, insufficient. Bhishma had great affection for the Pandavas, therefore, his being the protector of the Kauravas would be insufficient. This made Drona feel important and needed to secure the victory for Duryodhana. So Duryodhana was fired up. He fired up both personalities by using subtle words. Srila Madhvacharya didn't like the statement that protection given by Bhima is limited, because Srila Madhvacharya is an incarnation of Bhima. So Vishwanath Bhakti Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushan both translate this word aryaptam in different ways, just to make it more interesting. Baladev Vidyabhushan translated as our strength is immeasurable because we are protected by Bhishma. When Bhishma hears this, he even wants to fight more strongly. He is talking to Dronacharya. So aparyaptami has another meaning too. It means insufficient. So if it is taken as immeasurable, then Bhima gets excited and wants Bhishma to fight. Bhishma gets excited, and Bhishma wants to fight more strongly. It has taken as insufficient because for Bhima's affection for the Pandavas, then Dronacharya gets very encouraged to fight because it is so much needed. In this way, the Acharyas reveal some subtleties of Bhagavad Gita that make it exciting. And we see Duryodhana's expertise. Text 11. That Ayaneshu sarvasu yatha bhagam avashtitam Bhishmam eva bhyakshantu bhavanta eva sarvahi. All of you must now give support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. So Duryodhana stresses here. He stresses, and then the next. So he stresses that victory is dependent on the presence of Bhishma Dev, Grandfather Bhishma. As expert diplomat, he stresses that support of all the army is very, very important. Duryodhana is confident of the full support of Bhishma and Drona because they did not speak a word when appealed to by Draupadi. After Duryodhana said this, he tried to encourage Drona and Bhishma in many ways. Bhishma, as a very stern Kshatriya, did not say anything. Rather, he blew the conch shell. Now I read the glory of the conch shell. I read the next two verses. Tasya sanya nayan aksham to vrita pitama singha nadam vinashotsai sankham damo pratapavam. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. Tatasanka sabaryasa pavanaka gomaka sasaiva pyayaganta sasabastumulo bhavat After that, the conch shell, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all solely sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. So Vishnu blew his conch shell to remove the fear from Duryodhana's heart. But Bhishmadev is blowing the conch shell. He indirectly indicates that Dhritarashtra had no chance of victory because the conch is the symbol of Vishnu or Krishna, who was fighting on the opposite side. So the blowing of the conch by Bhishmadev is another sign of victory. Bhishma would do his duty as a Kshatriya and give his life in the fight. So this is the mood of Bhishmadev. He's a devotee of Krishna. By providence, he's fighting at the wrong side. But he's a devotee of Krishna. And hearing these words by Duryodhana, he's not impressed. He said, I'm a Kshatriya. I will do my duty. I will give my life on the battlefield. And success or failure is in the hand of Vishnu. And he blows his conch shell. So that's a Bhishma blows his conch shell. He wanted to blow his conch shell because he wanted to hear Krishna's conch shell. But actually, Bhishma's blowing of the conch shell had a meaning that should not have given Duryodhana joy. Because the meaning of Bhishma blowing the conch shell is, I will fight because I require to fight, but actually I will give my life in this battle. But victory of defeat is in the Lord's hand. And it's blowing of the conch shell being the symbol of Vishnu, is a recognition for Duryodhana's party that they will be defeated. So this is the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the Duryodhana Gita. We have heard blowing of the conch shells. After at 11, we will continue with the hearing about the blowing of the conch shells. Any question? We have 5 minutes. Yes.
Maybe I'm slightly confused, but if Krishna is at the role of Krishna, why is he on the opposite side?
Yeah, that because Krishna wants him to be on at the opposite side. It is the duty of a Kshatriya to be obedient to those who are maintaining you. And he has followed that principle. And therefore he had to fight at the wrong side. But he knew that it was Krishna's will. Because Krishna had an intention that, and Prabhupada mentioned that Krishna wanted to show, even if you are most powerful and conquerable, but you are at the wrong side, not at my side, you will be defeated. As a warning for all that and they are all devotees of Krishna, including Duryodhana. But they are taking a play, and they must play their role. And that's the role.
Isn't it because of Vishnu was a great strength and the grandfather, he was a symbol, mostly respected of the family. And Krishna put him on the other side, on the contra side of Pandavas, maybe to show that nevertheless of Vishnu, so and more strength of the other side, and the battle will be why the force will be lost. To contradict.
To contradict.
You understand? So that's when Bhishma on the other side, so the father should tremble. Oh, Bhishma is there, we can't win. Yeah, but because of the essence of the battle, of this battle, so there are many signs that Pandavas will win.
Yeah.
The battle, nevertheless, if Bhishma or
Yeah, the Pandavas, Kshatriyas are fearless. There was no question of trembling. Krishna was especially at their side in that. But of course, we will see in the Bhagavad Gita that will come out that Bhishma Dev is their grandfather. And the Pandavas have to kill their grandfather. And so Arjuna has a problem. And that will come out soon in the next section. Good. Yes.
This story about that India is still the most populated place, even though
Please.
India is still the most populated place, even though so many people were killed.
Yeah.
That made me wonder: does the majority of souls want to be in India? Has the desire because there's spiritual knowledge?
India is a very special place. That why am I saying that? If you are born in India, you are educated, and you are educated that you are a spirit soul, not a body, from the beginning of life. Everyone in India, everyone knows in India about reincarnation, about karma, all these things. In the West, we are just born in ignorance. So it are pious souls who take birth. In India, it's a special birth. That and how many pious souls that take birth, we don't know. That's up to Krishna. But it's still the most populated area. But, good, thank you. Let's we reconvene again at 11.